Good evening, good gentles. Welcome back to Bar tonight. Thank you for joining me once again. Your favorite Scotswoman, Mairead Siobhan. We have a fun-filled show planned as always, but before we bring out our very, very special, very royal, very peer-like guest, let's get a little bit of Scadian news. Coming soon onto your Collegium, November 14th. Join your friends and cousins for an exciting online learning event. Come hang out in the happy hour social room, visit with fellow Scadians, and geek out about all your new knowledge and all your newfound hobbies that you cannot afford. Make sure that you're checking out the Kingdom events calendar, online events, baronial courts, bardics, meetings. They're all listed there, and they are continuing to happen online in various forms and mediums. Stay connected with your kingdom during our time of shelter and be involved in keeping the dream alive. I'm very excited tonight because we have a very special guest. And I know I say that about all my guests, but she's very special. And I'm very excited that she's taken the time to join us. She is a duchess. She's a scientist. She's one of the founders of the EDI committee. And she's a former Disney princess. Please join me in welcoming Duchess Shay'a Carton-Sciona. There she is, the Duchess herself. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. It looks like you're in a fairy forest at the moment.
I thought that was good for the day, and it seems like it's in good shape. So
A good forest that still at the moment we can enjoy.
Right.
Safely and socially distanced.
Correct.
Speaking of it, how have you been doing? How's your family doing at this time of plague? How are you holding up?
We're good. I mean, we miss everybody. We miss our friends. But I'm home office based. So while I do travel for work, we're here, right? So we're always here together. So it hasn't been too much of a switch. The only thing is there's no camping and campaigning and feasting and, enjoying time with friends.
That's been difficult, I think, for a lot of people. We're all missing that interaction and that just silliness that you get to have for a whole weekend where you don't have to worry about anything at all. And I think we're all there. We're all ready for a nice camping event, but better safe than sorry.
That's right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now, sorry, I lost my place for a moment. I've got some notes here because you're very impressive and I wanted to cover all my grounds. So you're known as the science queen.
Yeah, so that just has to do with my mundane profession and my background training. I think that some of it we got kind of lucky too with Seamus as our kingdom champion, who's also super science. We could toss that back and forth quite a bit. So by training, I'm a PhD in neuroscience, and I work in the pharmaceutical industry. I work doing medical education grants and doing medical education. So a lot of what I do is I go, I come from the lab-based, actually, I should back this up. So I'm lab-based initially. And now what I do is I kind of go and help research get off the ground. That's company sponsored. And then I also do medical education at universities. And so with people that are kind of higher up the chain, what we call thought leaders. And I speak with them and try and make sure that I can answer any questions that they have. And we're kind of our own division within the companies. I think people don't understand how pharma works. I mean, big pharma is different. I'm not part of big pharma, but the way it works is there's a lot of things that really are important for kind of the evolution and advancement of medicine that the medical side of our company is involved in. And so that's kind of what I do.
So is that, I mean, when you go into a meeting and you're wearing your coronets and you're wearing garb, do they just accept that you're also a duchess? So you don't really have to explain it. I would imagine with the retinue coming into the meeting that might be a little difficult.
Well, they usually have, they usually have postdocs themselves or residents. So they generally have their own little retinue as well. but yeah, no, it's I tend to use my doctor title when I go into those type of encounters versus my more noble title, I guess I should say.
Dr. Duchess or Duchess Doctor. I'm not sure, or is Duchess PhD. Duke Dreamy, Duke's guitar. He has his, I believe it's his dukedom and or it's his medieval dukedom. That's what NMD stands for, I believe. Medieval dukedom.
I'll have to come up with something for PhD.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Pharmaceutical Duchess, really, PhD. Kind of works. I like it.
I like it too. All
so
right.
You're going to be bringing more science back to events. So you're going to have like a little lab coat on and.
Yeah, that's the plan. I thought I'd help Seamus kind of show off his penis bonnet that he has. We could walk around from camp to camp and talk about safe sex. Get some education in there too, right?
Actually, I think that's probably much needed. Let's schedule that.
Yeah.
Let's get that on the next event. I don't know who's running whatever event it's going to be. Let's get this on the calendar. Okay.
We can work some affirmative consent talk in there. It'll be fantastic.
With puppets.
With puppets.
Then we can get the bardic aspect.
That's right. You can join us and you can do the puppet show.
See how I wormed my way in there?
I know. It'll be fantastic. I'm very excited.
Excellent. All right. We've got a plan. So, I don't know if you know this because, we know each other, but we're in different circles. You're running a lot of royal things and I'm making fun of a lot of royalty over here in the bardic circle. But we have a very similar background.
Mm-hmm.
We're roughly the same age, and I'm not going to say how old either one of us is because no one needs to know. We're both from Kait.
Yes.
We both entered in the SCAs as teenagers.
Yep.
We both went to performing arts high schools, mine in LA and you're in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We're both very attractive. We have very handsome husbands.
Right. Absolutely.
So since I'm so much like you, why am I so envious of you?
You are not.
I'm over here sad and crying.
You are not envious or sad and crying.
So cool. I'm a nerd over at the Bards. That's just saying. Just see, folks, how things can turn out. So you got the cool California girl, and then you've got the nerd.
No.
That's okay. I just
come hang out anytime. I make it over to the bardic circles too. I just don't perform. I was a dancer, so it's a little weird. It's a little stranger of a thing to translate.
It's hard, and I like to. I was saying just last week at ITHRA, I like to encourage anyone who wants to be a bard to do whatever they're comfortable with, but it's absolutely difficult to stand up in a circle and go, okay, I'm going to do a dance for you. Now everybody step back 20 feet. Move. It translates differently. This is true. But I would love to see you dance. I will make the move for you. I will say, everyone move out of the way. Duchess is dancing. What is your practiced dance?
Oh, so not anything in a while, but tap was my first love.
Yes, very period accurate.
And and then after that, I would say, it was jazz, hip hop, followed by modern. Ballet is kind of the last one on there. I did do it. I had the point shoes, the whole 9 yards, but that was my least favorite I love watching it, but it was my least favorite to dance, I guess.
It's very structured.
Yes.
I can see tap. That's brilliant. I'll have to ask for pictures of that sometime from you. Little tiny tap shoes.
Yep. I was 5 when I started, so I have some special ones.
Folks, it was the 80s, so we were all in tap and ballet, and we had little secret outfits.
Yep.
And they were horrible.
Headbands. I remember that. The big
headbands and tights, and I was a bunny at one point. It was terrible. It was terrible. But speaking of our performance art background, you were literally a Disney princess.
I was.
You were. How long did you do that for?
So I started when I was 16. So they actually don't hire now under 18, but at the time, many moons ago,
we won't say
how long ago, but many moons ago, you could get an entertainment work permit.
Right.
And they were hiring for parades at 16. So I started at 16. So that was my high school job. It was kind of like the coolest high school job ever.
Let's show everyone what you looked like. There you are. 16.
So that one I was probably 17, but I only know because I know which parade that is. That's the Christmas parade,
Nice.
and that's the Christmas fantasy parade. So my first year, they were still doing the Very Merry Christmas parade. So this was my second Christmas.
Nice.
And then I also did the electrical parade, and I also did Lion King too. So I was a cheetah and a gazelle in the Lion King celebration.
Love this.
Yep. It was a circle of life.
The circle of life. I show up as Snow White and I leave as a cheetah. I think that was the alternative ending, actually.
It was, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Scar leaves. He says, "You know what? I'm sorry. It's my bad." And then Snow White shows up. She turns into a cheetah, and it just got really busy. And they just
it got really complicated. So they just were like,
So can you do the Snow White singing? Can I challenge you to a Snow White off?
Oh, I don't know that I could do the Snow White. Well, I could, yes, probably, because they're only because her vibrato is just insanity, right? I mean, like, there's so much. I'd be much better at doing like the Snow White wave probably than the singing, though.
Oh, let's see the wave.
I don't know if Zoom's gonna pick it up, but so there's a big thing. You know, everyone says like elbow, wrist. So we didn't have that, and so it's, you know, you do see, it's not going to do it. I'm not going to get it to.
Wow.
But basically what it is you wave, right? And then you have to wave, you have to move down and like do like a little wave. So you do like a big broad wave across everybody. You move, yes, and you make sure you wave, and you look at like the little, because you're waving at the little kids level. So that was like a whole thing.
So and then like a training involved.
Yes, it was very. I had to learn how to sweep. That's actually a good one. If you want a funny story, and Curtin loves this story. He thinks the story.
You had to learn how to sweep.
Yeah. So for the Very Merry Christmas parade, they actually had a float that had a well like this.
Right.
On it, and then there were steps, and then the back part was like the dwarves' house kind of thing, and then there were steps. Well, part of it, it went through like all of the songs, but one of the songs that it was doing was Whistle While You Work. And so in that one, I had to sweep with like this broom, but it wasn't like a modern broom. It was like a big giant, right? And where you don't so much sweep things into a pile and like sweeping them into a dustpan, you're just moving it around, right? You're moving the dust around to kind of just spread it, so it's not all in one space. And I didn't know how to do that, so we spent actually an inordinate amount of time the first session. I'm a dancer. I'm not a sweeper. I don't know.
I can just see like a man with the scarf and the hat going, "No, you do not sweep right. Oh, Monty," just walking away. How dare you?
It was like a thing, and I finally got it. I mean, we finally, I was a dancer, so eventually I could make my body do what it was supposed to be doing, but it had to be like broken down for me how to actually sweep with this weird broom. So
right, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just give you the count, right?
Right. Just tell me when to go. And then I had to dance with it and caress it. That was fun.
Nice. Not at all weird. Not at all.
Still really cool high school job though.
Oh, absolutely. No, I used to run around there wanting to work there. Like, I'd run around hoping someone would discover me. I'd be like, "I'm wishing for the one I love." I'm like, someone discover me. Someone discover me. I was very thin and I had dark hair and I was a bob, and I'm like, somebody freaking hire me.
What, do it? Come on. So I will tell you, one of the weirdest things about like Disneyland and the princesses is almost none of the hair colors matched, right? So like almost all of the Snow Whites were blondes for whatever reason. I don't know if that face, like, because a lot of it was about the face shape. I don't know. So maybe that's more common genetically with lighter colored hair, but then almost all of the Cinderellas were brunettes. So there was this like really weird kind of like, it was super strange, but it was it was pretty consistent that you almost always had like the lighter color hair and the Snow Whites, and then you had the darker color hair in the Cindy's. Huh. So it was, yep.
Strangely, it's my dog. Strangely, I knew someone in the SCA around that time that played Pluto and Goofy. His name was Sean. Well, that was his SCA name. He was like 6'4", super stick. Mm-hmm. You might have actually worked there around the same time. But yeah, he said those were awful. like just 150 degrees inside, but with a nose for Goofy that came out to here.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I did once. I did a head character once for like, because I was an extra one day. So the way that they do their, I actually could probably get in trouble with this if Disney watched this, right? But the way they did it at the time is they would have you assigned like 2 days to this, because you couldn't work 7 days a week, right? So you were 2 day this, and then 3 day this or whatever. So one of the summers when I was doing 2 day snow, I was doing 2 day snow, 2 day finale dancer, 1 day extra. And what extra was is basically anybody who called in sick that was in your height range, you had to learn all the parts in the parade in your height range, and then they'd throw you into that role. It was actually a really cool role because you got to do like a bunch of, it kind of shook it up a bit. But I ended up once in one of the Cinderella mice. And I was about an inch too big for it anyway, like too tall. And so that happened once, and my back, they like had to pull me off because I was having to go like this with the head on, like I was having to put my neck down. Ended up getting back spasms. Like they had to pull me off route because my back just started spasming and seizing up because I was actually an inch too tall for the costume, and they're like, we need somebody in this, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And I was like, okay, no, I'm never doing that again. Yeah.
And you know what? The only reason they cared wasn't because your back, was because some poor child was going to have that burned into his brain and that little mouse going on the floor. Like little.
I didn't fall down. I motioned to a lead and got escorted off. Walked over with my hands doing whatever they were doing, and I was like, hey, gotta go.
That's brilliant. Well, and it's, growing up there, you probably did the same thing. You ditch school, you go there with your parents 3 or 4 times a year. You know the place like the back of your hand, and it's just,
yeah, you know what, and we could get in free, right? So, I mean, we were always in there. We actually, depending on what we were doing, the parades could go in between parades because there's an hour-and-a-half break. So if we could completely uncostume and like, if you weren't wigged kind of thing, you could go. Yeah, I went a lot, and then I actually didn't go for a really long time. And then Matt, when we first started dating, had never been to Disneyland. And so our first official date, I took him to Disneyland, and that was a really cool experience to like experience someone seeing all that for the first time that had never been there, because it's a lot to take in if you've never been, right? I mean, they do a fantastic job at what they do. Yeah. And that was really cool. And then we got married there, right?
That's wonderful. That's lovely. Yeah, the last time we went as a family, it was us and our 3 kids, met my brother and his wife and their 2 kids. And my kids, growing up here, haven't ever been. So we went, the 9 of us, as one big group for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And that's to have the whole family together is a really great experience. But,
I bet.
Yeah, if I ever go, I'll just walk around. I know Snow White. So, I know.
If you go again, Star Wars was Galaxy's Edge there yet?
They were still building it.
Wear your Star Wars swag, like that shows like Rebel kind of thing, because you get so much play. Like everybody will come. When we went, because we went in December, and I mean everybody was like, all the in character, like all the people that were in character within the world would come up and interact, and they were really into like if people had like picking a side. So if you had like, if you had Empire stuff on, then you get a different interaction with people. But if you had Rebel stuff on, they'll come up and interact. So I highly recommend you and your crew gear up for it.
Doing it.
It was super fun.
Yeah. We're going to have to go soon just to see that part. But you brought up that you took the lovely Duke Kjartan, the handsome barefoot king, as I've always referred to him, for your first time. Now, you two have a very cute story. You met at Pensick?
We did meet at Pensick, yes.
Tell me about that little romantic bit.
Yeah, so our story is very, I guess it's very sweet, but it was also very complicated. So
he was belly dancing nude. No?
Well, he was living in Washington and I was living in California. And I was camping with Ontier because I'm good friends with Duke Uther, who was also in our bridal party. We're good friends of both of ours, and he was king of Ontier at the time. And so I honestly I knew the king and queen of Kaid, but I wasn't very close with them. So I ended up camping with Antir, and so Keratin was camping with Antir, and so we met there, and we clicked immediately. I mean, there's lots of stories you can ask Duchess Anparad or whoever else was there. They've all got they were in their own little world kind of stories. But he was getting out of a really bad marriage too, so it was a really kind of a weird time. So we actually didn't start dating until that October at Great Western War, because like I said, he was getting out of a very bad marriage. But it was it was pretty magical. So
Well, you are a Disney princess, as it should be. You found a prince, not yet maybe, but eventually. Great Western War, that was another good one. I don't know, I hate jumping back, but I was at the first 2 or 3 when they first started in Riverside in Prado Park.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember that long ago.
Yeah.
There.
Because that's close to my parents' house. So my parents used to live in Corona. So I actually loved when it was at Prado, because I could go home and shower. I could go home to my parents' house, right, if I wanted, and shower when I was ready to go take a shower, or if I wanted to take a nap during the day, I'd go back there and get some air conditioning, depending on what the weather was like. So yeah, I loved it when it was at that park.
It was right in our backyard. It was brilliant. Mm-hmm. So you've reigned twice now, or not 3 times, twice.
Yep.
So can we look forward to a Keratin Shay'a 2021 campaign?
I don't know about that.
I've got my lawn sign already. I don't know if I was supposed to put it out yet, but it says Keratin 2021.
We got to come up with a slogan. No. So I don't know that we're done. I don't know that we're necessarily like gunning right now, but I'm sure we'll be entering, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm just throwing the idea out there.
We can make buttons and
it could be fun. We could do commercials. It could be a good time.
I could buy a campaign ad on your show, right?
Right. Yes. I am a completely neutral third party. Bard Tonight does not back one candidate or the other. They're all equal in my eyes.
Of course not. But you could still show the commercials.
Oh, absolutely. I'm getting paid in something. I don't know what yet, but something.
Right.
So you've been queen.
Scotch, right? You like Scotch? Isn't that right? Whiskey? Scotch. Yeah.
Scotch. I like a Highland single malt.
Okay.
A Glenlivet, a Glenfiddich.
Okay.
Any of the Glens will do.
Any Glen will do.
That's fine, and I'll take it. Everyone are dark chocolate or cookies.
I'm a Scotch girl too, so that's how I remember that. I was like,
we've also got that in common.
That's right.
This is working out. Although I'd have to be Snow White because of my hair, and you'd have to be Cindy.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right now, I don't know who I could be right now, but I can make it up.
Ariel. Yeah, Ariel works.
Sure.
So you've been queen twice, and you've been a well-known advocate for equality in the society. You've been leading the charge on a lot of levels. What, in your opinion, was the hardest thing, if you can think of an answer, about being consort in either range, or just generally?
Oh, about being a consort.
Yeah, about being the queen consort. Because I've seen some really wonderfully strongly written words from you about because I told you we're not going to get serious, and we aren't.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of piling on of the consorts and crapping on the consorts, and I don't appreciate that.
No.
Any consort, male, female, gender non-conforming, it's a strong leadership role in their own right.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just wondering, was there anything particularly for you that you found difficult as you were doing the job?
No, so I mean, we did some stuff, especially in the first reign, where we made sure that, so there was some ceremonies at the time that were there was like almost no lines for the royal consort. And so we did stuff like we made sure to go through them ahead of time and reassign from the ceremonial, so that we were having more equal speaking time. I'm actually more of a comfortable public speaker than Keratin is. And so I actually did, especially in the first reign, did a lot more of the speaking. But I think that we really took a look at everything ahead of time and tried to make sure that we were giving equal, I guess, airtime, and to use a colloquialism or whatever, right? To make sure that we were really representing a pair of leaders, a partnership on the throne. It's the crown. It's not the king's word is law. It's the crown's word is law. It is, it's not about one or the other. This is a job we're doing together, right? And so that was something we always, we've always agreed on. I mean, it wasn't anything that we ever had to have any kind of heart to heart or, come to Jesus talk about. We went into this already, kind of both of us feeling that way about it. So I don't feel like I mean, maybe there were some people that didn't like that, but I didn't, it never filtered to me, right? So that kind of got, if the people had a problem with it, I didn't hear it. And I'm sure I wouldn't have, because it wouldn't have, that wouldn't have sat well with me. So I'm thinking, what's going to happen, right? I think probably one of the hardest things, though, if I talk about, and I won't get too serious in this, but the first reign, I did, and speaking about kind of some of the EDI work that I did, one of the things that we tried to choose with both reigns, but in particular, but with the first reign, we chose, because we had the 12th night auction, or the 12th night fundraiser.
Right, very well attended fundraiser that you.
Yeah, and we chose for that particular fundraiser to have the beneficiary be rain. Okay. And kind of historically, people have been choosing some more kind of feel-good charities, ones that weren't quite as, talking about issues that made people uncomfortable. But it was something that I know that it's not only a problem in the world, it is a problem within our society as well. So it was something, because our society is in the world, right? And so it was something that I wanted to do. And it was overwhelming, the response that we got. It was absolutely amazing. But it was difficult from a perspective that I didn't quite understand what some of the responses were going to be, because it ended up that almost every event I came to, someone was coming to me and telling me their story in confidence. And that was emotionally kind of difficult. And I think, that's probably, that probably had to do with, that it's not really a problem with me being, a difficulty because I was the consort, the queen, the royal consort, but what I chose to do with that role, that was, that in particular was rough. I wouldn't change it for the world. I felt really honored to be able to be a part of people's healing in that, but it was, I would come home from events and be pretty spent.
Well, thank you for opening that door and letting people feel like they are being seen in that capacity.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. So is there anything about being a royal consort that was your favorite part? And you could say, you could even say taking off the crown at the end of the night and pouring into bed. But what's been your best or favorite part of being consort to the Barefoot King?
Yeah, so I think meeting new people, honestly. So we, for those of us that have been in the SCA for a long time, it's not necessarily that you're not open to meeting new people. It's just you tend to you have your friends and you hang out with your friends. And if somebody comes around, you're nice and all that kind of thing. But there's not really, you're not really putting yourself out there to meet people per se. And I think that for me, it was getting a chance to get to know a lot more people around the kingdom. We have a very, very big kingdom, in particular compared to like Caid, for example, where I knew most of Caid because we all lived in a very small, geographic, yeah. But here, there's people that I've never met before. I still haven't met everybody, right? But just because of distance, maybe we're only at one event together a year, kind of a thing. And so this, I think reigning really, it was really wonderful to be able to get to meet more people and to get to know folks. I mean, it's always great to give people awards. AOAs are, fantastic. They're one of the best things ever. Yeah. And so being able to recognize people is pretty amazing. But just getting to meet people was, for me, that I guess I could probably go out there and be like, hey, I'm so, anybody want to make friends? But that's like, you don't do that. People think you're weird then, right? But if you're the queen, they're really excited to talk to you. So
you can just stand there and they come to you. It's a lot less weird when you go, hi, I'm the queen. And
right.
Like, ooh. Should we all have that chance one day? Are you renting Kjartan out at any point? Are you like, you know what, babe, I'm sitting this one out. let me know. You go and have your fun. Just pick another person. I'm sitting. I mean, you could make money probably on this person. Gosh, in the very least.
I probably could, but I actually came into the SCA dating someone who was writing, and it was miserable. So it's something that like I always and he reigned another time while we were together. We were together for 6 years, and he reigned another time while we were together. And I didn't want to reign. I mean, I was pretty new still, and all that. But it was pretty miserable because we never saw each other at events, right? Because I couldn't be a lot of the places. And we, I remember there was this one time at Shay'a that I ended up just walking down to Merchants Row and eating by myself because everybody had gone to whatever it was, and so it's just, that for me, that was something that I wasn't upset at him. It wasn't anything like that, but it was definitely one of those where I was like, I never want to be the king's significant other again. It was a really, for me personally, it was a very miserable experience because, it made eventing not fun, and it took over home life too, right? So
better to be the partnership that you can be. You can understand.
Do it together.
Do the look, and you're like, yeah, okay, let's go, babe. Yeah. That's fantastic though, because that means you guys have a really good marriage. You can keep reigning.
I like to think so.
No, so far so good. We'll get another reign and test. I don't know. You've got kids and everything, so I'm sure things are okay. So if we could have any event right now safely, obviously, is there an event that just in your heart you're like, that's the event I need right now for my heart song that would make me feel good?
Probably on Tier West War.
I've heard that before.
Right? I mean, I'd like a good weekend war where people are coming from out of Kingdom too, and I can see, both at all, my beloved Ontarians as well as people from the West and, Kaid and Artemisia and everywhere else, they come up to that event. So it would definitely be that or Great Western. I love Great Western. That's one of my favorite events too. So.
I haven't been since the Great Washout of '98. I don't know if you remember that year. That was when it was President's Day weekend and it was the La Nina.
I heard the Great Wet War, I believe was what it was called.
Yeah, that was my senior year of high school. See, I'm sitting here wondering like what events we've been at together when we were but we never knew each other. You know what I mean? Like, did we know the same people? Possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so I day tripped that. That was my first year in, was 98.
See, we were both there.
And so we were.
I was probably like, that bitch over there. No, I'm kidding. Never would have said that about a pretty blonde girl ever in my life.
So I was, but I didn't get caught in the flood because I wasn't sleeping there. So as soon as it started going badly, I just booked it back to my parents' house.
It was impressive, and you and I are Southern California Caidians, so we know how they handle rain.
Yes.
Not well at all.
No.
So when we do eventually get to come back in whatever form that is physically, is there anything that you would like to see us carry over from this? We're in the ethereal plane with all of these ethereal events. Is there anything from what we've been doing now that you'd like to see carry over back to the physical events?
Oh, you mean that to actually move into a physical like dynamic, or to keep doing virtually? Like, I think.
Yeah, kind of like, is there anything that we've been doing virtually or any way we've been reaching out or anything that really clicks with you that you think we should keep doing, even when we go back to Great Western and even when we go back to, on Tier West?
So, I love all of the programming like this, like the Between Two Peers, like Misty's interviews. I think all this stuff is fantastic. And I think especially down, and I understand people get really busy in the summer once it's like kind of tourney season and camping season, that stuff might slow down, just because, it's your one weekend off, or it's your, you know what I mean? Or your 2 weekends off, or you're still doing laundry from last weekend or whatever it may be. But I think, we kind of have this down season from, kind of late fall through, early spring, late winter, that this kind of stuff I think would be fantastic to kind of fill in that time period to make us all, still feel connected and things like that. I also really so I am not an artisan. I wish I was, but I'm just not. But I love looking at all the, some of these groups that have been created where everyone is, doing these challenges to create things. And I think the accessibility for some of this is a lot better. So even thinking about it from an EDI perspective, offering some of this stuff where people aren't having to traipse through uneven ground and sleep in a tent and all that to be able to participate. Some of these, virtual offerings, these ethereal offerings, right, really kind of open it up for folks. And I think that, because of that, I think that that's a really great thing and something that'd be really nice that continued in some form once the plague has passed.
Yeah, if we could be very nice to our event stewards of our online events right now, because it's just as stressful for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe if we're very nice to them and not meet them on Facebook, they'll keep doing a partial virtual event, like to coincide with a physical event, because I've really been enjoying it. I have you'll forgive me for forgetting the Road to Athenaeum, the virtual Road to Athenaeum. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
I participated in that before, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to some people. So to see everything up and to be able to do that from the comfort of your own home, and no one's paying a site fee, so like you say, it's a little more equitable, but we all get the chance to share our nerddom with whoever wanted to talk to us about it.
Yeah.
And that was really a lot of fun. So yeah, be nice to your event stewards. Can I just?
Yeah, everybody be nice to your event stewards. Event stewards, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all the event stewards of all the amazing events. Thank you so much. Kingdom Heraldic Scribal Symposium this weekend. If you didn't go, please go to the next thing, which is Collegium, and be nice to your event steward. So talking about this, and I'm just throwing this out there, and you can say you don't have one, but do you have a favorite bard?
Oh gosh, you're gonna get me in trouble. You absolutely, of course.
My show.
Of course. I mean, come on.
That's fine. That's fine. You could have chosen either me, the current champion Andromaca, or the previous champion Gala.
Those are my options. Nobody else.
Those are the three choices. Because Andromaca is my best frenemy. We started out as enemy bardic combatants, and we eventually wore each other down with our respect for each other for our art. But we were enemies, but now we're frenemies. And Gala, because she's my mom now.
Oh, she adopted you?
She adopted me. She is
I love them both. I have known Andromaca for a very long time, and she's friggin' phenomenal. So
amazing.
They're both really good people.
Yeah, a lot of amazing talent out there. I just wanted to hear you say you liked me.
I know. That's what I know.
And you walked right into it. Thank you. So we're coming to that time in the show where I like to play a little game called "What Were You Thinking Here?" And I've got some photographs, and I'm hoping you can just walk me and the viewers, all of our lovely viewers out there. There's probably 2. Eventually it works its way up to a couple hundred, but you're popular, so maybe, hey, can we beat Christian? People, I need more than 1,100 views to beat Christian, okay? This is the science queen, the science duchess. She's got her pharmacy duchessy, pharmacy dookie, her pharmacy dookie. Duchessy? I don't know. I don't know. So I want you to prepare yourself for this one. Oh, is that a snack? Thank you, my love. That would be the hand of my producer and handsome husband.
I make super funny faces all the time. Like my face, like I'm one of those that my face does not lie. Like you can just see, like I will just make crazy faces. So I'm actually really looking forward to this.
So that's funny that you say that, because if you were to take my class on storytelling, dream weaving, storytelling in the SCA, you would get to the point where I would say, freaking know what your face is doing, because a lot of times mine gets me in trouble. A lot of times.
Well, they take so many pictures when you're writing. So this is it too, right? I mean, it's just like, so many pictures when you're writing. And so they're catching you like mid-sentence and like, God knows, right?
Yeah.
So some of them that have come out, I'm like, I look really angry at that plate, right? Like, I mean, there's some of these pictures where I'm like, why do I look so mad at that plate?
Damn plate. I'm going to tell you what, this one, you're not angry.
Oh, okay.
I have questions.
Ah, that was Penzik.
Was that the Penzik? Was
So
that the Kjartan Penzik?
yeah, so that was probably no, that was a Penzik before. That was my first Penzik. I've only been twice. So this is a Penzik before, and I am probably thinking at that point that it's really hot out and I want a nap, and I'm just kind of smiling and probably drunk, honestly. Because when it gets really hot, that's like that would be like my go-to. All right, I gotta get myself buzzed enough so that this heat isn't bothering me, and then I'll chug some water and then I'll take a nap.
So that's how you deal with Penzik. Okay, now I know.
It's really hot out, or hot and humid. So dry heat, 100% fine with, right? California girl, I'm good. I go to the desert, Arizona, I'm good, right? I get someplace where there's like 80% humidity, and I have to become intoxicated to be able to deal with it.
So if this were me, my hair would be out like this. So mine would have just been like Kathy, the cartoon, just straight out. All right, well, goodbye, Duchess Shay'a. What the hell is going on with this?
Oh, you got like old stuff, right? Yeah, so this is a 12th night. Yes, but this is a 12th night. Yeah, and you know what's great about this one? Do you see kind of my headbands? You can see that there's like things on those. Those are like Signum Reginas and Signum Rexes. So there's like personal thank yous from the crown. They give out like 3 or 4 a reign.
Nice.
Like kind of thing. Yeah, so this was my Christmas gauzy coat. And so that's so 12 nights. So 12 nights in Kite, as you probably remember, are not coronations, and they are not. They're not quite the same as they are here, right? So that they're not. They weren't historically like super formal. You know, they're kind of there's a little bit of costume party-ish to it. So
I just laugh because I've seen you at 12 nights now, and you're very, very fancy. And so there's been a bit of an evolution in shape.
So my original persona, obviously this has got some fantasy vibe to it, but my original persona was Middle Eastern. Before I moved up here. And then when I moved up here, it became abundantly clear to me that I needed wool and linen layers. And I was poor in graduate school, so I couldn't, you know, if I was going to continue on with the Middle Eastern stuff, it was, you know, that was going to be warm. It was going to have to be kind of like what I'm wearing now, right? Like this really fancy fabric that I at the time could not afford. So
of course not. No. No, we've all had the fun fantasy garb. I cannot be on any kind of high horse. I ran around Estrella in just a tunic. I don't think there were any pants. Definitely no shoes. So
and I am though, right? I miss the sun.
Right. Sometimes I do too. I miss the ability to handle the sun though, where everyone had air conditioning in a pool.
Right.
That helps. All right, so that was just the only 2 old ones. We won't go that far back. We're going to take it a little more in the future. We're going to cover up Shay'a a little more in the chest. I love this one.
Yeah.
Several funny faces.
I think that this one was, I believe Mary LaRose took this. And I think what was happening is she wanted to see my bling. And so I just did a little... look at my bling kind of pose.
And that's fabulous. Was this made by anyone in particular? It looks pretty damn historical. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. So I actually strung the middle 2, and the bottom one was partially Feed the Ravens, and then I extended it to make it longer. Mm-hmm. And Asa, my friend Asa had helped me with that. She's really good with the stringing of the beads.
Gorgeous.
And then the top pieces there are fish. Okay. You can't really tell, but they're little fish. And so I had gotten those and strung those. So all of this stuff was really cool because what we did, and unless you got really close up just to be able to look at our garb, was it was all 2-tone metal, and so all the post cement was gold and silver. The wire weaving that I have on my neck and on my cuffs. Oh no, I'm sorry, my neck isn't wire weaving, but on my cuffs, and on the top, I believe, of my apron. Where is that posting it to?
It looks like
anyway,
right
the wire weaving that we have on and he has it on his as well, is actually real gold and silver. So we really we blinged it up. You can't really tell unless you look real close and get into it. But like even those brooches, those are silver with real gold, like in certain places. So it's we really tried to kind of do the two-tone metal with all our.
Well, and it's a very refined. This is what a rich Norse lady would be wearing. I mean,
yeah, and that was kind of the idea. Where that's what we were going to get our ducals in. We wanted to make sure that we were. I mean, we poured into that. That's our fancy outfit, right? That's our fancy Norse outfit.
I have one.
We have one, exactly.
Well, it's fantastic, and that was a hot day. That was July core. I'm back here. I'm wearing wool as well back here, and this is a wool dress, and yeah, that was warm, but I looked good. So did you.
You look good. And your hat's fabulous.
Well, Tabby's hats, everybody. Tabby is fantastic. She's local. She's got hats. She's selling now. Tabby's hats. I love this one because you look not amused.
I don't know. So this is probably just one of those where I'm listening. This could be my listening face. I could be unimpressed with what's being said, I guess. I don't know. It's clearly not anything that's being said by, yeah, oh, Matt, Jared, you want to say hi?
I don't know.
So we're doing this section of pictures where we're saying, what were they thinking?
That was that play.
No, it wasn't. This was at Arts and Sciences. I can see. It was at Arts and Sciences.
Oh, this is the second one.
Yeah, so I honestly don't know. This might have it might have just been me listening and being caught in a weird face. But I'll make something up, right?
Yes.
She makes that face at me when I say something particularly stupid.
We'll go with that. Matt said something real dumb, and and I was like,
we allowed the king to speak again. It was a mistake.
Really?
All right, I'll take that. I like this. Giving a little sass.
You
get away from me. F the patriarchy. Get out of here.
That's
right. That's what she's saying.
You are not in your place. We blocked this out like 20 times.
I think, and I remember, I think I saw you this outfit in 12th night, and you might have been wearing it any other time, but see, very fancy. So that's why, like, this is the 12th night. I think of you in like this, and then to see you in the very tight gauzy coat was a little bit of a shocker for me. I mean, you look great either way.
This was this is our Slavics. And, yeah, and we got kind of the Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel colors going on for these.
And amazing work. I don't know if you do your own garb, but probably not when you're raining, right?
Like I said, I am not an artisan. I like aesthetically, like being able to help come up with like the aesthetic of something. Yeah. But I am not. So this team was led by Reagan Leaf. And so Reagan Leaf and Goulinet were our head clothiers for both reigns. And this was, but this one was led by Reagan Leaf with some consulting with Phoebe, who used to live up here, I just used her mundane name, who's now in the Outlands. But she's really kind of done some really forward work on Slavic stuff, and so in consultation with her, we kind of put together a design for our step up garb, and I absolutely love this outfit. I wore it multiple times during the rain. They're super comfortable. I love that I can just put my hair up, right? Because especially with camping, right? Like the second or third day, and depending on how long you're camping, it's nice to be able to just kind of stick it up in a scarf. So
yeah,
I think this is, I love this. I love the aesthetic of the Slavics. So
yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous and just blinged all to hell. So it's stunning piece. You both looked great. Both looked amazing. They did a fantastic job, Reagan Leaf and Goulinet. Gosh, to you. So you look less than happy here, though. It
was hot. This is like I'm so hot right now, Face. You can see that. You can see Countess Asa is also making a
so hot.
Actually, everybody in this picture, and I'm wearing my wool county cloak, actually, or my county shawl.
Hi.
Because I was just wearing like an undergown, right? And so I was being queen at the time. I was trying to dress it up a little bit, right, and not be quite so, I guess, plebeian. Like, so I ended up
just running around in underwear.
But it was so hot, which is why I was just wearing the underdress, or the undergown. It wasn't just underdress; it was undergown. But because it's all 3 layers, right? You have the underdress, the undergown, and then the apron. So I was wearing this here. But yeah, I know that this was just me going, oh my God, it's so hot. And we were watching the cancer tourney. And so it was something that I actually really wanted to be there to support, but it was also pretty miserably hot. But you can see in the bucket there, if you look, you can see the top of the champagne bottles in there and the top of the orange juice. Yeah. So we were also drinking at this time too. So,
So just like the first picture, to deal with the heat, you were drinking.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's a pretty consistent thing for me.
All right, so we just give the queen, the Duchess, a little drinky and then a nap. I like this because this is what I'm talking about, the good partnership here. That's a knowing look. Right,
I love this picture. This is actually one of my favorite pictures.
Great picture.
Yeah, and I don't know what was going on, but I'm about to smile, right? The face I'm making right now is this right before, like this is us like connecting,
right,
on like, okay, we know what we're doing, and then it's about what we're about to do right now. I'm sure is turn then and face everybody and smile, right? So we're having a little psychic moment here, a little, with our.
I love that.
So
got to have those unspoken cues when you're reigning. Absolutely. It's a fabulous. Oh, and there's Andromaca. There's my buddy.
Yeah.
Our current champion of Bardic. Let's see. Oh, I do have another one. I love this because I think I know what you're thinking. Damn, I'm so glad I'm not reigning anymore. Tired.
And I'm hot, so I can go take some of these layers off here in just a second.
I'm so tired. Please make it go away.
It was, what the other thing though, it meant a lot to us that, so we're really good friends with Morgan and Lydia. They're some of our best friends. And so it really, really meant a lot that they were the ones that gave us our duchies, right? Yeah. So that was really, really, really cool. So I'm sure I'm basking a little bit in that aspect too, because that was really special for us.
Very special moment. And this was amazing because this was your scroll, was this bench.
So we're kind of known for the fact that, and I don't want this to come off like the wrong way. I am absolutely amazed by the illuminations and the wonderful work that people do. We've always been kind of scroll-like object people. So we are not the typical like SCA house where you come in and there's a bunch of scroll work on our walls. If we were to do that, it would probably go up in our guest room, which is kind of our SCA room, but we don't have none of our artwork is anything that you would never guess we were an SCA house unless you went into our SCA room upstairs. So we have a lot of our stuff is modern, or I have a lot of mid-century modern stuff as well, as far as style-wise. It just for us, because we think that stuff should be displayed where people are going to see it every day, and because we know that's just not what would happen with the aesthetic in our house, we've always asked for kind of scroll-like objects to be associated with that. So that's why this kind of stuff, that's why my county was a shawl kind of thing. And so it's super cool. I love that they made us a bench. I love that it's a combined scroll too, right? Yeah. So that's both of our scroll, and that's pretty neat as well.
It's gorgeous, and art is. We're gonna end on that one because I think the end of your reign for that game is probably the best picture I could come up with. But they're all art. Some of the ones that I've seen, the scrolls that are made, and then the ones that are carved into a shield or made on a little cup. I mean, all of it is some amazing art. But yeah, it's great when it's an object, something that's there I love it when something has a dual purpose. Like maybe you don't even understand what it is unless you know. It's kind of a thing. You're like, oh, that's a pretty bowl. And you're thinking, yeah, it was handmade by so-and-so who's got 10,000 hours into making it. And she wrote my name in tiny Greek letters. But yeah, it's a cool bowl.
Yeah.
I love that. It was a beautiful ceremony. I'm very pleased to have been there and to have been your champion for even a short time. I got to be under a few kings and queens. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of the show, and I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us and giving us some of your time. And I know that you're busy and you've got the family and you've got Kjartan running around apparently saying stupid things that you have to make faces at.
No, that doesn't happen very often at all.
Sure, we'll say that so that everybody knows. Absolutely.
He keeps me entertained 100% every day. Find yourself, for people out there, you don't have them, find yourself a man that makes you laugh.
Yes, my husband and me, we've been together over 20 years, and it's because we agree you have to be able to be stupid together.
Absolutely.
Have to be stupid together.
Got to be able to be goofy, got to be able to be stupid, have fun.
Keeps you laughing, keeps you moving through the tough stuff.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we will see you soon, and this hopefully will be a bit of a blip in a strange blip in our SCA history, and we'll all get back together, I don't know, in a couple months or a year or whatever it is. But in the meantime, I hope everybody joins us again next week when we will finally, I've been promised, have Duke Dreamy on. We'll see if he chews through his binds this time.
Well, it is a pandemic. I mean, he is mundanely a doctor, so.
Right? Can he make time for me? No kidding.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's give him a little bit of grace.
No, and in fact, I'll tell you this. I actually had him down a couple weeks ago, and then I had overbooked myself all week with other stuff, and then SCA stuff, and then I had like a horrible allergy attack, and I clean forgot.
Oh yeah,
I clean forgot.
Stuff sneaks up on you in this time right now, right? I mean, that's just how it is. It just sneaks up on you, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm overwhelmed and exhausted, and it's just how it goes. And then you gotta do some self-care and refill, and
refill.
So always refill, especially when it's hot.
Time for everyone to go get a refill and say goodnight to the wonderful Duchess Shay'a Kjartan 2021. Good night, volunteer. We hope to see you all soon, if not in our dreams. Good night from Myri and the Science Duchess. Bye-bye, folks.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you. Good night, everyone.
Night.